Hello, hey, it's Joel. I hope you're doing well. This is slightly different to my other videos. When talking to my producer, which is my wife, we thought it might be good to do kind of those more, what the word, professional looking ones. I don't know if professional is the right word. And then also do kind of more intimate ones. And speaking to my mum as well, she's like, you got to tell everyone how you feel and everything. And it's just harder for me to, I don't know, be as intimate on when like my wife's there, and it's just easier when I'm by myself with you guys, which is kind of weird, eh? So yeah, this is me in bed. I'm just about to head to bed. It is 10:35 p.m. here in Sydney, and the things I wanted to speak to you about today, or kind of share, were what were the hardest times through this entire process so far. So I got to mentally prepare myself and for everything that like this is a marathon, and which is like if you express a marathon in like the year, I've got a year to get through all of this. I'm probably on week 3 in the first phase. If you don't know these phases, in another video I explain kind of what they are. So this is phase 1, and this is the end of the week, getting to the end of the week 3. So basically 3Ks in a 42K race. It's kind of scary when you think of it like that. And the crazy thing is that this is the easiest part of the marathon, right? This is an easiest part, which is again kind of nuts when you think about it. Anyway, I wanted to kind of share with you uh, the hardest part of this journey so far. So at 3 kilometers in a 42-kilometer race, you're usually feeling pretty good. And that's generally how I've been going. So but there have been times when it's been hard, and the hardest time for sure was when they first tell you. So you might have seen that I was told, well, diagnosed in London, UK, when we were living there, which is not too long ago, and we decided to get the treatment in Australia. But they told me, believe it was on a Thursday. It was May 23rd. I should look that up. I can't remember if it was a Wednesday or a Thursday. That's when I had my colonoscopy, and they told me I had cancer. And it was, I think, a Friday. Oh, yeah, it must have been a Thursday, because on Friday I had an MRI, and then Sunday I had a CT scan. They organised that super quick after they diagnosed me, and a lot of people give crap to the NHS and so forth. But like when you've something's really serious, and it's pretty serious, they pulled the strings, and I got through and did all the other tests that need to get done very quickly. So on the 23rd I was told, and then I had a few days before I was leaving to Australia. So I had to come to Australia. This is before we moved for work. I had a work trip already planned. I had meeting customers and attending some events here. So I was leaving the following week on the Wednesday, I believe. I was flying out on the, oh no, sorry, on the Thursday as well. So I had quite a few days between them telling me get an MRI, get a CT scan, and leaving to Australia. But usually it takes a bit of time for them to get all the results together and then tell you what your real diagnosis was, right? So they had told me I had cancer, I had known that, but then because of the other scans, it gives them more like variables or points of information to give you a better summary. And I hadn't had that summary. I'd just been told by the doctor that I had cancer. So I was getting quite anxious between getting told and then moving to Australia, traveling to Australia for work for 1.5 weeks. And just for peace of mind, I remember emailing my nurse specialist, who was assigned to me by then, that I really wanted some more information before I went to Australia on a trip, and was it detrimental to my health if I went to Australia on this trip. So in between that Thursday and the following Thursday, I believe I got told on the Wednesday I had a meeting scheduled. I kind of pressured them to give me a meeting before leaving on the Wednesday. So in those days between, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 5 days between the colonoscopy and that meeting were definitely the hardest. And reflecting back on it now, I can say that because there's been a bit of time now between that and now. So the reason why it was so hard is that I went from thinking I was super fit and healthy to having cancer to getting millions of tests done. And I just had blood tests and contrast. They give me contrast for the CT scan and all these other kind of needles and so forth. And I remember like looking at my arm and it was all bruised up. I sent a photo to my family in Australia about it. My arm was just all bruised up from needles and tests, and I remember it's good now. It's been a while since then, but it was just so messed up. And I just remember looking at my arm, being like, "What is going on?" Like it was bruised and it just looked really bad. And I was like, "What is my life become?" Right? It was just really hard to like process that. And the other thing which was really hard to process, well, looking back on it now, I was still processing, is that I just have these random times I would cry, like just out of nowhere. It was like watching TV, just start crying. Eating roast chicken that Becky cooked me, just started crying. And usually when you cry, like everyone cries, you can be as tough as you want, mate, but everyone cries. But the difference here is that usually you cry maybe because you watch a sad movie or someone's passed away in the family, or there's always generally like a cat like a specific thought that makes you cry. And the difference here, sorry, my arm's getting sore. I can't be bothered holding the camera. The difference here was that I would be crying and no like specific thought was in my mind. Obviously, I'd been told I had cancer, like that's a big deal. And then, but I remember like eating dinner. Becky, when we found out, Becky was like, "I'm gonna cook you a roast chicken," even though she had never cooked a roast chicken in the 5 years we've been together. But I was like, "Hey, sure, I love roast chicken." So she decided to cook dinner. I remember just eating the chicken, which was perfectly fine, very good actually. That, and I would just start crying mid conversation, and we were just like talking about random stuff, like as you do. And then I just remember started crying, and it just out of nowhere. And it wasn't that I had a thought in my mind. It wasn't sad for a specific thing that I could pinpoint. And that happened multiple times during those 5 days. And that, to me, was definitely the hardest time for me so far. Emotionally, I should say. Not physically, just emotionally, from a feelings perspective. And then there's been other hard times. So in the last 3 weeks since I started actual treatment, I would say that the hardest times was when I'm like literally lying in this bed during the day, and I look outside and it's like sunny, and I'm like, I just want to get out there and do stuff, and I'm just like, but I feel so fatigued. So, and there's just like mentally challenging times because I'm generally a very active person, and I just can't be as active as I want to be because I just don't feel like I can. Though the good news is that the doctor told me that I need to do walks every day for 40 minutes. So I've been doing that with my dad and with Becky. So it's good to keep the, apparently it keeps your energy levels up. It's kind of funny. You're fatigued, but you're meant to go for these walks because it raises your energy levels, which is really really good. So yeah, that's been the hardest time for sure. And oh, tomorrow is a big day, right? So it's Thursday, the 25th of July. That's ridiculous. I didn't even know what today was, Thursday or Wednesday or Friday, but I should know that because tomorrow is an important day for Becky and I because it's our 1 year since we've been married. So we technically got married in San Francisco, and we just did the paperwork there, and then we uh, we were going to get married in Portugal, which is one of our favorite places down in Lagos in the south on the Algarve. But yeah, unfortunately, Becky's mum passed away the week before our wedding. Oh well, sorry, got had a heart attack, a stroke before the wedding, a week before the wedding, and we had to cancel our wedding, which was very sad. And then we flew to Miami to be with her, but she passed away about a week later. So it's weird. Like Becky and I always talk like, what date do we actually celebrate for our wedding? Because that was going to be a different date to the day we signed our paperwork. So we decided that the 20, 6 would be our anniversary day. Shit, it's bad not to. The 26th of July would be our anniversary date. So tomorrow we're going for dinner up in the city, because yeah, so to a very nice restaurant, which a friend gave a voucher for. So thanks so much for that voucher. But like, it's just like the last 2 days, I just have had no real energy, right? Like I've done like one thing, I've been napping. I just haven't been in the right frame of mind, because on Monday, Tuesday, I was crushing it. I had lots of energy, was doing lots of things, didn't need to have naps, and then like the last 2 days, I just had to have naps. So you got to really take it day by day. But it's just tomorrow. I just hope that that I'm feeling good, and that like we, we have a good anniversary, right? Like as far as just like you, know, you never think, yeah, you never think in your 1 year anniversary. wouldn't bloody think that your mother-in-law would die before your wedding, and you wouldn't think that your husband of 36 would get cancer, and that your first anniversary would be with your husband who has cancer. Just, oh man, that sucks. That sucks, but our relationship's really good. We've had a really good, been together just over 6 years. No, this is, as I said, the anniversary for the first year. So many more years to come. So just the first anniversary year is not quite what what we were thinking. Just surreal, mate. Like what is it? 2 months ago, just crushing it in the UK. And then 2 months later, I'm in week 3 of cancer treatment. Far out, mate. Life changes. Life bloody changes quickly. But yeah, hopefully tomorrow I'll be good. Stomach just hasn't been that great. You take the pills they give you, and that kind of resolves it to an extent. But I'm just sore. That sounds kind of weird to tell everyone, but I'm just sore, right? Like, because what happens, they zap you every day for 3 weeks. Um, so I'm just tomorrow. I'm gonna get some rest tonight, get a good sleep. Go to 9 o'clock at the hospital tomorrow. Actually, seeing a therapist. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but they give you to see a therapist, which would be good. Both of us will go talk to a psychologist when I say therapist. So it'd be good to kind of just share our thoughts and everything on that. Then I got my normal radiation. Then I see the doctor, and she's really good. Then I come home, hopefully nap, get a good couple hours sleep of napping, and then hit up dinner, which is at 5:45. That's how we roll. Having early dinners now. Grandpa Solomon's. Now I couldn't get a booking for later. I kind of booked this a bit late, not gonna lie. But yeah, that's tomorrow's a big day, and for not just spending quite a bit of time in the hospital, but for our anniversary. So sorry, get myself together, bloody hell. Oh, bloody hell, it's so weird. Just want to say to my wife that I love her, and it's been a tough year, bloody hell. Not in our relationship, just with a few things going on, And that yeah, it's been a tough year. But I love you, and bloody so happy we got married. Going from commitmophobia Solomon's to a married man, it's been bloody great for me. So really thankful that we're married. Picked a good one, and got many more anniversaries to celebrate. So we'll go from there. So, cheers. Thanks for listening, and we'll speak to you soon. Cheers.